About value propositions, but I find so many people really misunderstand what a value proposition is and what value is. So I wanted to take a few minutes and offer some of my thoughts of what we really see. First, let's understand what value is. We can't define value. And I think that's one of the big mistakes marketing organizations and many companies and many salespeople make, is we define value. Value can only be defined by our customer. And value lies in the eyes of the customer. So until we ask our customers what they value, we can't create and deliver a value proposition. And it's not just the enterprise that we have to look at, the generic customer, but what we have to do is look at everybody involved in the decision-making process. Each person that has some sort of vote or some sort of involvement in making a selection of a solution, we have to understand what that person values. And then we have to, as sales professionals, take those things they value and translate what we do for them into value for each individual involved in the decision-making process. Value changes through the sales process. Very, very high on in the sales process, when you're maybe dealing with leads and prospects, value doesn't have to be different. It doesn't have to be differentiated. It doesn't have to be distinguishable. It can be generic, because all you're looking to do with your value proposition at that point is to get qualified by the customer and get to compete. So we don't have to look at value being individualized, personalized, unique, and differentiated. Value just has to be good enough to compete. Now we're working a deal, and as we go through our selling process and as the customer is going through their buying process, value starts getting refined. It moves from the generic to the very specific. So by the time we're presenting solutions, what we're doing is we're addressing the value that we've discovered with each person that's involved in the buying process. I think there's another part of value and value propositions that we as salespeople too often neglect and leverage to our advantage. And actually, it's the most important part of value propositions and value. Is we all know how to create great value propositions. We know how to translate understanding what customers value and how our solution helps achieve and create great value for them, and how it's differentiated from the competition and the other alternatives. But actually, that value proposition probably becomes table stakes. We find that the greatest area of value is the value that we as sales professionals create at helping the customer through their buying process. So the value we create is very much at the beginning in giving some insight and ideas to the customer about different ways to run their business. The value that we create is helping the customer learn how to buy. If we look at very, very complex B2B kinds of decisions, how many times in a person's career do they make a decision for an ERP system? How many times in a person's career, say a VP of manufacturing, do they make a decision about a major new manufacturing system or major new machine tools and things like that? How many times does a CFO in her career make a decision for a new financial system? So our customers don't know how to buy. We know how they should be buying because we sell dozens and dozens of those every year. We have great experience in what a great buying process looks like. So one of the greatest values we can create is help educating our customers on how to buy. Not just how to evaluate a vendor, but who should be involved from their organization. How should they align themselves and their goals and their objectives in the organization? How do they manage the internal structure and politics? How do they manage the change that they're taking their organization through? So customers don't know how to buy. So one of the greatest aspects of value that we can create is helping facilitate that value, that buying process. Value is critical. Value is what causes us to win or causes us to lose. Be very clear about what your value proposition is. Be very clear about how value changes through the sales cycle. Be clear about we need to create value for each person involved in the decision-making process. And be especially clear that the greatest value that we can provide is the value we create in helping our customers buy a solution. Thanks very much.